Okay, it appears we are live a bit early today, just to get things started. Make sure that the audio is good. Make sure that the bandwidth is good. And so, if there's any issues, of course, as always, let me know. Welcome back to Swimming with the Pontoon. It looks like we're on episode 31. Man, 31 episodes. Here we are. Got an interesting one for tonight. We'll touch on it. It's kind of the main one. I'll hit on that in just a little bit. I hope everybody has had a good weekend and you're enjoying your time. I know here in Louisiana it has been a hot one, very hot, but I guess around the country it's been pretty warm as well. We've got the El Nino. Hey, what's up, Stuart? Stuart, look, I got it. Look at this thing. I love this shirt. I absolutely love this shirt. Guys, our man, Nordic Nevadan, is a beast when it comes to shirts. This is the new Heisenberg Tactical Pontoon shirt. Okay. You got it. You get with Stuart. He can get you hooked up. This new one with the new logo, it's beautiful. Love it. Absolutely love it. I have the other one I actually wore to the beach last weekend, and I got it dirty. I got to admit, but that is part of the fun of living life. Sometimes you got to get that shirt dirty. Yes. All right. Yeah. Get with him. This new shirt, the new Heisenberg shirt with is your trigger breaking clean, and then of course say my name on the back. It's a great shirt. And the blue, I fought for the blue. I really like this blue color. And of course, we did the blue Heisenbergs, which already left the shop as it is. So those came and went. We might do another run of those, but yeah. I hope everybody's had a good weekend so far. I wasn't here last week. I mean, I was here, but had family in from out of town, from up north, and the Trigger Cave actually serves as a guest bedroom. When I've got a full little house, got a little place. It's not very big, but that's all right. So the Trigger Cave acts as a guest bedroom, and it's not the nicest place, so you can't really do a video while I've got it serving as a guest bedroom. But I always have to tell them, while it's not the nicest place, there are people that would die to get a chance to spend time in the Trigger Cave. Lots of trigger secrets, lots of great builds, and so it's the Trigger Cave. So obviously, I couldn't stream last week, and so we're gonna stream this week and get back on schedule. It's summertime. Got to kind of take some time with family, take some time away. I know I've had I've been relatively steady on doing the live streams, but I've missed a couple weekends. I'll probably miss another weekend in another few weeks. Could happen. We will see. I bet you would. I bet you would. Hello, Christina. Good afternoon. So, what do we have on the docket for this live stream? Well, NHRA racing. Well, then why are you here, Scott? Are you actually at, or are you just watching it on TV? Are you just watching it on TV? I mean, I can't blame you. It's fun. I would prefer to be at the track myself, which I should be at the track. I should have already made it to the track several times this year with the Challenger, but I haven't. I should have, but I haven't yet. Really my fault. I stay pretty busy. car's not exactly where I would like it to be, and eating pizza. Man, look at you go. Well, I should be over at your house, Scott, eating pizza, watching an NHRA. That's the life. That is the life. Um, anyways, what do we got? For one, I've got a new desk coming, and cookies with oh man, if those cookies are chocolate chip cookies, this fat kid is in. I am in. Okay, I just pizza and cookies. I'm actually trying to be really good. I have decided to, actually utilize some willpower because I've been terrible this year. It's been a crazy year. That's the excuse I'm going to use. But I have decided, at least for a month, to get back, not just for a month, but to get back into a strict diet, because this year I have put on some weight. Not great. But chicken and rice, dude broing it. So that's the plan. I've got the brown rice, I've got the chicken breast. I did last year, I did a good 3 or 4 month period of chicken breast, and I'm so burnt out. Like, I'm still burnt out on it, but it's time. So I'm gonna throw some carbs in. Normally I do the low carb thing. This time I'm gonna do a good balanced, and when I say balanced, I mean chicken and rice. Gonna do the chicken and rice thing, throw some carbs in there for filler, and just keep the calories down. Protein, some carbs, some good cleaner carbs. That's the plan. I got to drop some weight. I need like a good 20 pounds. Seriously. Um, you're on. Hey, I will come and visit before too long, Scott. September, October timeframe. That's the plan, anyways. Barbecuing steak with mashed potato. See, we're talking food. After this, it will be some chicken and rice. That's all right. That's all right. It's worth it. It is worth it. I will, whatever. Gotta take care of the health. Not that I'm unhealthy. I just gotta drop some weight. The total dad bod thing is obviously I'm not a dad, unless you count what other trigger manufacturers have to call me daddy. Hey Mike, good to have you here. Good to have you here, Mike. I hope the Leonidas that I sent out there is taking care of you. And obviously, if you have any issues or any questions on the tuning, let me know. Christina needs some quick, easy new recipes. Oh man, that's a quick, easy recipes. Everybody, if you have a good, quick recipe, shoot it Christina's way. She needs some help. Help her get dinner taken care of this week. So what do we got? Okay, there's a possibility that the filming area could change up a little bit. I might even though I like the setup that I have now, I did order a new desk because the table that I'm using to film all of this on, and especially top-down videos, is a bit shaky. You see that? I can't do that. This fold-up table, it works, but it's time to change it up. I have a desk coming, so while I'm changing out to something a bit sturdier, there's a possibility I may change the room around a little bit in the trigger cave. So it's a possible. Hey, Demo Joe, you're not actually late, Joe. I actually started a little bit early to get things going, to make sure that the internet connection was good, to make sure that we had sound and that sort of thing. It's been a constant hassle. So I started early, got things going to make sure that if we had to restart because of issues, we could get that going before 6 o'clock hit. So looks like things are good on that end, but it could change. Anyways, there's a possibility, like I said, I may change things around Uh, I did order another light. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I do like the current setup that I have, but I am one of those people that likes to change things up. So we might end up with a different camera view. I might like some of my older videos where I actually filmed on the other side of the room. I may set something up over there. We will see. I haven't fully decided, and once I start moving things around, it could just happen. So while well, let's let's talk about the headline of this video. Okay, let's talk about the headline of this video. Recently, I was sent a picture, and then another person hit me up. Another customer of mine hit me up, and it was about the Vex trigger shoe. It seems that at least one party is doing a recall of the Vex trigger shoe for the G48, G43. I would imagine the CR920 um, Vex trigger shoe in that platform. They have a new variation that has more pre travel. Now, I've talked about this. Hey, Steven, what's up, man? And even Steven himself, he's brought it up. And a couple other people have brought this up where the Vex trigger shoe, and I would imagine the other variants of the Ranger Proof trigger shoe, are on the edge, if not over the edge, on the slimline platform. It appears that Johnny Glock himself, I haven't seen anything from Ranger Proof. I did go to Ranger Proof's website to see if maybe they had information on it, but knowing the way that they respond to things, I'm sure that they're not going to do an actual recall. It appears Johnny Glock is actually sending out replacement trigger shoes that have more pre-travel for the G48 system. Okay, because as I've said, and as other people have said, that trigger shoe without work is going to run the risk of not being safe in a slimline. There are other platforms, the Dagger is one, P80s for sure, that if you, yes, they were using the same trigger shoe for the slimlines until I'm guessing recently. It appears now, at least from a couple pictures that I've seen, I didn't dig too far into it. I didn't actually go to Johnny Glock's website, but I did go to Ranger Proof just to check. But at least it seems that Johnny is sending out replacement trigger shoes and actually doing a recall, which is the right thing to do. I'm surprised at this juncture with everything that it ever got to this point. It doesn't surprise me if it was just Ranger Proof themselves, because I've been down that road with Ranger Proof. They don't have the experience to, you would think at this point they would have the experience, but it appears maybe they've pulled some of the travel out of their triggers. I don't mess with the Vex trigger shoe. I just don't. Yes, on some frames it's right there at the edge. Having been down that road with Ranger Proof's trigger shoes, and being right on the edge or right over the edge, I don't play with that anymore. If I'm going to build a system that has no travel up front, I take care of the safeties. I don't sell a trigger shoe by itself. I wouldn't sell a trigger shoe by itself that was that close to the edge, because you're going to get people that are just going to drop them in place and think that things are good to go. I can tell you from experience that even gun builders or Glock armorers, many of them will throw a trigger system in, do the bare minimum. Pardon me, little burp there. uh, do the bare minimum of function test and and send it out. They're very rarely do they do the full safety test. Uh, and this isn't picking on anybody. This is just really kind of the whole safety awareness. Check your stuff. Unless of course you've got it through one of the tactical and my tactical pontoon installers who do trigger installs, who put in my systems. One, my systems I designed to fall through all all the safeties are there. The Leonidas system, there's a lot of extra work that goes into those to make sure that with all of that travel taken care of, the safety is still there. All three safeties are still there. Steven says that's the problem right there. I remember I saw this with yes, the early Overwatch had that issue, and we're talking early 2018, 2017 Overwatch. The original ones were like that. Uh, Overwatch did they added a lot of travel back into them, but it appears, like I said, Johnny Glock does seem to be doing an actual recall. He's sending out trigger shoots from the pictures I've seen. I haven't directly contacted him. I don't feel a need to. I'm just giving him applause for doing that part of it. It is unfortunate that it got this far. I'm very surprised because when Ranger Proof had their safety issues and they were my supplier and I did a lot and this was earlier on, I've failed in my issues with them. Earlier on, they were my supplier and we ran the safety issue. He was one of the people that contacted me. Okay. So when Ranger Proof basically dropped me and allowed a lot of that stuff to fall on my head, and they got very upset with me when I brought up any sort of mention of recall. Very upset with me. And that's one of the reasons they dropped me because I brought up a recall. It was soon after that, the Ranger Proof and Johnny Glock got together. So why anybody is in this situation, I don't understand. Shouldn't have got this far. But that's beside the point. If you have a Vex trigger shoe, whether it's from Johnny Glock's website, one of his systems, or Ranger Proof, I would get with them, and if you haven't already been contacted, get a replacement. I am sure. No, I'm not. Okay, let me not put. I'm not going to put it this way. If they haven't contacted you, especially Ranger Proof, get with them. I'm sure they'll make it right. With the previous issues that happened, they did not want to issue a recall. What they did do was anybody who had the original Ranger Proof trigger shoe, they would exchange it for the new version that had more pre-travel. It wasn't a recall, it was an exchange. So that is how they did it that time. I don't know if that's how they're doing it this time, but for your own benefit, if you have a Vex trigger shoe in a G43 and you haven't done the safety checks or you haven't verified, I would get with them and see what their plan is. My goal here is not to point any fingers or any of that. It's really just a safety thing. If you have a Vex trigger shoe, check on it. A lot of people like them because they do take up a lot of the travel. I get that. That's why the Leonidas is popular. It's also why the Leonidas is extremely expensive, is because of the work that is done for an entire system to work like it does. Just a trigger shoe by itself with that much travel taken up, been down that road. Steven says, I saw it again in 2020 on the Overwatch Slimline. I told them and they didn't seem concerned. Really? I know the Overwatch poly, which I used a lot of back around that time. I didn't use a lot of the Overwatch aluminum trigger shoes, just price to performance. It just wasn't, and I wasn't one of their preferred people, so I had to buy everything, you know, through their website. I haven't played with one of the aluminum Overwatch very often. Just wasn't my thing. So, like I said, slimline is a different beast. There's less room inside there. So again, Vex, if you have a Ranger proof trigger shoe in a slimline, do your safety checks if you know how. If you don't know how, check it out on my website. I show you how to do it. I have step by step. Don't have a video on it. It's just not something I've done, but I do have the step by step. But really, if you have a Vex or any sort of Ranger proof, just get with them, see if they're gonna get you guys taken care of on that. Nordic Nevada, Mike, Leonidas is worth every penny. I'll never go back to the other guy. And that Peacemaker 3.0. Well, good. I'm glad you love the Leonidas. It is. I warn people, if you've had a Leonidas, you're never going to want to go back to anything else. It's right there at the wall. It is extremely fun to shoot. It is safe. There's no take up, or extremely little. Like it's at the wall, especially if everything's tuned right. It's right there at the wall. But there's work that goes into it, because that trigger shoe was not originally, well, the whole thing is not originally designed to be right up at the wall, but I actually modify the safety tab on that so that it sits right up on the frame, and that safety tab actually works on not only when the slide is assembled and everything is on. Not only does it work then, but it also works to pass Glock safety tests, where when the slide is off and you pull that trigger forward and it sits, it doesn't drop off that shelf, because that shelf is then modified to be longer. Okay, I extend that shelf out so that there is a drop safety shelf extension. That's important. The other thing, the one thing that the Vex or others, that if you get just a trigger shoe that takes up that much travel, you've got to think about. Here's a dagger trigger bar. This vertical extension right here, it's not made to sit that far back without it'll push on the safety plunger, the striker safety plunger or safety block in the slide, unless you scallop this. Now, you have to do a very aggressive scallop to remove all of that pre-travel. That's one thing that took me a while to get correct, is getting that scallop right, because you can get that scallop, you can get that safety vertical extension so sharp, and you know, it basically becomes like a little finger that will bind up in the slide. If you're not careful. Between a reduced pressure safety plunger spring and then a rounded safety plunger, you can get everything in there, but you have to scallop that correctly. It was one of the most challenging things to get that part of the safety as well as the other three. So it's a lot of work. Oh, we got a lot of. Okay, order and beat your work, period. The manufacturers you work with are pure gold. This is true. Gunco has done me very well. Their trigger shoes are very high quality. Once Boogeyman Excommunicados come back online, which is also an extremely high quality trigger shoe, we will start using those. Fortunately, right now, it's kind of up in limbo. They'll come back, but probably change just a little bit. Seen a lot of stock G43s with some sketchy sear engagement. Yeah, even the stock ones. That is true. And the thing about the aftermarket trigger bars for the G43s or the slimlines. Those trigger bars, I've seen some of them just not work. They'll work in some because during the great parts shortage of 2021, I tried some of them because even today G43 triggers are hard to get a hold of in quantity. I tried using some of those, and sometimes they worked, sometimes they worked good, but there were some issues where some guns just didn't like them, and it came down to the, call it the bird's beak if you will, on the end of the trigger bar. Some combinations just would not work, and so while I used them for a very short period of time, no more. I just don't. I use factory ones, even though I basically have to get into street fights just to find them sometimes. Extreme carry for the 43X made a huge difference. Yes, it does. There's a reason the factory triggers on the slimlines are not great. There's so much reset distance and they can be very stiff on the break. It took me a while to get just the characteristics that I wanted, and it takes some work, but when they're done, Hey, MF Wick 61, did you ever email me? I had an issue last week because I have a bronze plate or a copper plate for you, slide plate. I had an issue with the website where I wasn't getting emails. It's fixed now, or 2 weeks ago now. I was having some serious website issues, but so if you sent me your email or your address for that slide plate, I never got it. So I didn't forget about you. I just wasn't sure how to get a hold of you. So if you would shoot me an email with your contact information, mfwick61, shoot me another email. I do apologize. I just wasn't sure how to get a hold of you. So I'm glad you're here. Spartans. Yes, the Spartan series. I don't offer those anymore, but maybe eventually again. Heisenberg, yes. The Heisenberg versus the Leonidas, a lot of it comes down to just the pre-travel. Heisenbergs normally have a little bit quicker reset, depending on the frame. Once you get that combination, what happens to get that extremely short reset, sometimes you get a little bit more travel. Well, what happens is to minimize that pre-travel on a Leonidas system, you can't quite do the same amount of modifications to the trigger bar because then you start to require too much travel. It's a give and take. So, and especially in some frames, you're going to run into it just not having this it just, there's so many variations, but I try to get everything up to, I try to get those Leonidases like as close to the same reset as the Heisenberg. Doesn't always work. Sometimes a little extra tuning on the back end can give you everything you need, but I try. Demo Joe 97. I need a trigger for a G48 with new carry gun Sapper is doing for me. What's availability? About a week out. On anything for the slim lines. I'm about a week out on those, and I recommend the Peacemaker Extreme Carry system. I do have what I call the daily, which is more of just a really basic drop in. It doesn't get all of my work to the trigger bar, so it still maintains a little bit longer reset. So Peacemaker Extreme Carry. About a week out, I'll make it happen. Not too bad. That's the way to go. What else do we got going on? So yeah, that is kind of where it goes with the Vex trigger shoe. My main concern is not putting anything on blast. It's really a safety concern. Not a fan of Ranger Proof. I'm just not. There's a reason. I've got a good amount of money tied up in trigger shoes that are junk. Okay, because of what happened. Okay, so while I would love to just, because of how they treated me, it's not really what I'm here for. Because I've moved on. I'm so glad. I'm extremely glad that I'm not dealing with them. I can tell you some horror stories. I really can. And I have pictures, not incriminating pictures, but I literally, right before all of the stupidity happened, like I spent Thanksgiving or close to Thanksgiving with one of the owners of Ranger Proof. I have pictures. We shot guns. He happened to be, he's from Florida, happened to be visiting Louisiana. I drove 3 hours to go visit him. Spent the day there. I didn't get any sleep whatsoever. So like I felt like I was family. It was shitty the way that I was treated when everything went down. Thought we were closer than that. Anyways, the fact is, moving on to bigger and better, because after all of that happened, even though I was almost considering shutting down, I shut down the website for a month when all of that happened to address any safety issues on my end, which led to what became the Leonidas. Okay, what I did was I did a lot of scallops. I did a lot of trigger ledge modifications, and then there were a lot of people that were able to get replacement trigger shoes, but also there were some people that just wanted to work with me to get things, and this was all done free. I shut everything down to fix things, which is good, which is the right thing to do. And then after that, obviously, I had to find a new trigger supplier. Excuse me. Um, Steel City Arsenal stepped up to the plate. I bought a bunch of trigger shoes from them. And then just a little while after, that's when Boogeyman dropped the Excommunicado. And really, that was one of the best things ever, because while I made the transition from an older style system, which is related to the Peacemaker 3.0 and 3.5, I began work on the competition system, which is now gone from the Excommunicado to the Heisenberg system. Okay, so everything happens for a reason. Yes, I'm a little salty at times at it. It comes up. But the reality is, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be better for it. So it happened for a reason. I'm better for it. Really pushing. Yeah. And that's true. It has very little pre-travel. That is the thing about the Vex. And but you got to do work to make it work correctly, safely. So anyways, that's kind of what it comes down to for the Vex and the Ranger Proof crap. Just if you got one, hit them up. They've got another variant that they may send you. Again, there's nothing on their website directly specifying it. You probably got to hit up Andy directly. Don't tell him Tactical Pontoon sent you. As much fun as that might be, I really don't want to stir up that hornet's nest, even though really this video kind of does. It's not really my goal. I got better things to do. Let's see. TWP. I plan on getting more of the Training with Purpose trigger shoes. I just have been so busy with the Peacemaker Gunco trigger shoes, and Gunco makes the Training with Purpose trigger shoes. So it's really similar. They're a couple different, very little bit of difference, but that TWP trigger shoe is a nice trigger shoe. I just haven't ordered them in the same number that I do the Guncos. So we'll get more of those. I've actually done a TWP Leonidas, a couple of them for people. They came out really nice. They did. The probably my only gripe about the TWP is, at least for me, I like the thinner shoe of the Gunco. I don't know. That's just me. Okay, 4.5 TWP. It's in my carry gun. Hey, that's good. The 4.5 is an excellent carry trigger. It's crisp. It is, it's 4.5 pounds. It's a heavier trigger, but it's got great break characteristics, which the reality is I would rather have a heavier trigger with a great break than a very spongy light trigger. And that was one of my complaints when I first got into building triggers for myself personally, was all I ever found was just a spongy trigger. I would buy parts and they just got really spongy. I had a trigger. This was before I even had a trigger gauge, but I had done all the basic modifications. I had a flat trigger shoe. I had a Ghost. I think it was a Ghost 3.5. I had an overpowered trigger spring. I pieced all of it together, and I hated it. I hated it. It was a Kinetitech trigger shoe, which is another cheap trigger shoe. I think they still sell them. I just hated it. And then the next thing I bought was, I thought, okay, well then I'll buy a more expensive trigger shoe. So I ended up with an SSVI tier, which is now owned by Glock Store, or not Glock Store, but pardon, Glockmeister, I believe, or its primary, that does the tier trigger shoe. But again, I was let down because the shoe looked good didn't actually make any of the rest of the parts work better. And then it just led me down the path where I bought more parts. I bought a Zev race connector, V4, they call it, V4 race connector, which Zev has since changed their connector out to another variant. That connector, that was the first time I ran into a binary trigger on a Glock. And it was even spongier than the other one. And then I would run into a binary. That's when I learned how to adjust a cruciform. And I learned about the different variants, because I would throw it in one frame. I threw it in my Glock 17. It was okay. Spongy, but okay. I threw it in my Glock 19 and it ran binary. So lots of different things. I learned a lot in a very short period of time about all the different parts. And, it kind of led me down the path. I bought several different triggers and I just was not happy. So that's what brought kind of where I got here. Next thing I knew, Tactical Pontoon. Polydat, yes. Yeah, the Polydat is the Overwatch Polydat. And that's one of the earlier, I don't know if their mold that they use for their polymer triggers just has wore out, but over time, and that's why I don't offer it anymore, is that the hole that the trigger pin goes through became so loose that the trigger would wobble so bad on the trigger pin that in some frames you would run into trigger pins walking, because when some people, depending on the way they shoot, you can put force on that shoe instead of just directly back. You'll tweak it and that sort of thing, because that trigger pin's just wobbling in there. And it's also a Generation 5 variant, so you've got even more clearance in there. The Polydats just became no longer an option, something that I could use in my trigger systems. Maybe in a Gen 5, but like I said, they just became so loose, it wasn't worth it. Hey, what's up, Dave? What's up? Yes. Sorry you're late. Well, fixing dinner. You missed a lot, Dave, to be quite honest. We talked about the Vex trigger shoe. Um, we talked bad about you and your channel. No. Desert Tactical, Dave, good guy, smaller channel, but I feel like it's going to be growing exponentially. So follow him down on Desert Tactical. Good guy. Steven says polydat tolerances got really sloppy. They did. I started noticing as time went on because I used them for two and a half years thereabouts, and it just got bad. I mean, near the end, I was just like, I can't use these. I was also seeing the safeties were catching. They were getting caught in the polymer. I would actually have to disassemble them at times to clean up the mold where the safety shoe or safety went into the shoe. It got bad. I don't even recommend them anymore. All the juicy parts. My triggers are all right. Can't really complain. You're gonna have to rewatch. Dave, missing his old buddies at Range of Proof. It's funny. I thought they were. I really did. I would text the owner and call him quite often. I was new. I really felt like we had a connection. They would ask me questions. There were times, old times. I was newer in the industry. I was so innocent back then. Hey, MR2 Scroll Christian, what is up, my man? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. My dagger kit, that has done really well. I like them because that just means Apex doesn't get a sale. But there's not a lot of meat on the bone with those, to be completely honest. But I do them because I want guys to have a better option out there. And with the various options, it's great. I really because I did a like a giveaway, if you will, on for the dagger guys, that if they bought one of either like a Peacemaker trigger kit or a dagger tune-up kit, they would get a armor's block. Well, that went over really well. I'm going to be a little bit late on some of the orders because I got so many orders that I'm kind of behind on the armor's block. So that's been fun. But no, people love those, and I'm glad. Again, I'm glad. I'm very glad they've people enjoy them. I may have to change things up just a little bit. I have a limited supply of the connectors that I send with those. I may change those out as time goes on, but I may also do a variant for actual Glocks because I'm going to change those up just a bit because of the connectors and the bits that come in, let's say a generation 3 versus a generation 5. Because my goal is to give a good experience, and I'm not big on generic kits. So even though that makes it difficult for people nobody reads things. Very few people read the website. I do spend time to label things on the website and give a parts breakdown, but the type of questions I get sometimes, it makes me wonder, like, did you read this? Did you read? Or the fun one is when somebody orders something and then they ask questions about it. It's like, I mean, I guess at that point I'm obligated to answer, but I would answer questions even if you didn't buy anything. I have plenty of people that ask me questions that have never bought anything and have spent a lot of my time answering questions. for people that may never buy anything. And that's part of the deal. That's part of what I do. And I'm okay with that. Rewatch and help a bro out. Hey, I'm glad you guys take the time to watch my videos and listen to me rant and ramble. I have fun. I do. Copper trigger. I know. Get that 3D. I broke a 3D printer actually. I did break. I broke a 3D printer, so I ordered another one, a better variant. I have a backup 3D printer that is a pile of crap. There's a reason why it was a backup. It works. It just isn't as fast or as accurate as I would like. But yeah, that's been fun. Neon content. You had to bring that up, didn't you, Christian? That's kind of a sore subject at the moment. I still don't have the head of my neon for that engine back yet. Yeah, that's been a nightmare. I miss that car. I did go. I've been in Louisiana for 11 years, going on 12. Oh shit! It'll be 12 years this year. Um, I've been in Louisiana for 12 years. This July, actually, the 8th of July. So 12 years. I've been in Louisiana for 12 years. I have never been on an airboat until last weekend. My family was in town. There's an airboat tour that was about 2 hours away, and I now need an airboat. Not that I'm exactly in the swamp where I could ever use an airboat, but now I want an airboat because just the trigger with the bar, Desert Tactical. That's possible. Shoot me a message. I'll get you something hooked up for that. But I need an airboat because holy crap, that was fun. I would enjoy just riding around on the swamp in an airboat, a 600 horsepower V8 engine with a big fan on the back. That was fun. I will have to upload a video on like Instagram or something. Upload a couple. I'll put one on Instagram. I'll put one up on the YouTube page because that was fun. I could see myself rocking an airboat. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's one of those things I don't need, but I kind of need. Not that I would be able to really use it. Then I would have to justify buying a truck and trailer, and I guess buy more triggers, guys. Let me buy an airboat. We'll do airboat videos, and we can see alligators and that sort of thing. Yeah. But as for neon car content, hopefully here soon. The machinist that I took the head to back in November, who said that it would be done in about 2 weeks, has again delayed me because he said there's another tool that he needs. I'm not buying this one. I am literally I'm so fed up with that machinist, and it's so far to the point where I just got to let him finish. I'm just going to let him finish because I'm this far into it. I've literally dealt with a guy who was going to port the head that he did, and it took a year and didn't even do everything I asked for. And now I'm basically at almost a year with the machinist. It's been crazy. Gator hunting, especially in an airboat. I am telling you, yes, that would be fun. We did see some gators, and we stopped. There was about 3 different gators. My mother, who, when I moved to Louisiana, this was her first time visiting Louisiana, and I have joked with her. I have freaked her out over time, telling her that there were gators everywhere here, and she saw that there really wasn't. It's not like Florida, certain parts of Florida, but obviously I had to show her some gators while we were here. And so during that airboat ride, she got a chance to get up close and personal with some gators. It freaked her out. I thought she was going to back off, like walk backwards off the boat. She was getting away from the side. It was rather fun. It was fun to see. So, yeah. Um, what else? What else has been going on? Obviously, with family here, I wasn't able to keep up with the triggers like I wanted. So I've been ever since they left. I've been working on staying busy, catching up on orders. Haven't really been doing the Instagram thing, posting. I need to do that. Of course, Instagram has limited me because that's what they do. That's what all social media does. Even here on YouTube, I guess there's a new thing on YouTube where they're going to allow you to sponsor videos. I saw a tab. There's a video. I'll probably watch it where I guess now you can sponsor videos, which means it's going to be even harder for you to watch the content that you already subscribe to. So this should be fun. It was already bad enough with these shorts. And while I'm complaining about that, with Instagram and Facebook, you have their reels or whatever you want to call them. And I've done a couple of those, and sometimes they can be kind of fun, but what short little videos, and you can throw some music on it. That's kind of fun, but those are in landscape mode, which is the way to do it. Well, I can't just use those here on YouTube for their shorts because that's in portrait mode, which then changes the focus of the. It's just go back to normal videos. If I want TikTok, I'll get TikTok. I don't want TikTok. Just want my normal old stuff. I miss old school Instagram. That's how Tactical Pontoon started. The name Tactical Pontoon was because I was starting an Instagram account so that I didn't post my gun stuff on Facebook, where at the time I was climbing the corporate ladder and I had people that, who knows what their ideals were. So Instagram is where I went. Tactical Pontoon was just a joke of a name that I started an Instagram with back in 2017 or 2016. I'd have to look, but that's when I started the Tactical Pontoon name. Tactical Pontoon name. It was a joke. It stuck. Now I am Tactical Pontoon. It's all right. I like it. It stands out. So I'm just rambling at this point. I do miss the old school Instagram where it was just pictures for the most part. I think for a while early when I got started, I think they were just starting maybe stories at that point, which was a copy of Snapchat, which for some reason is still a thing. I don't know. Oh, Nordic Nevada. He said, Dave says the t-shirt is very comfortable from Nordic Nevada. And I can tell you for a fact that is the truth. They are very comfortable t-shirts. Extremely comfortable. Love wearing them. I'm actually starting to rotate some of the shirts that I wear here on these videos out into my normal t-shirt because I keep it simple. I wear t-shirts and shorts pretty much all year round, especially now that I don't have the corporate job. I'm rotating those into my repertoire, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, because they're comfortable. They're extremely comfortable. And this one has my face on the back. I guess I'm weird like that. On the what? No, Scott, you have to go to he's actually his comment right above you, Nordic Nevada. Hit him up. You can find him on Instagram. You can find him on my Facebook, since you're allowed on my Facebook. If there, let me bring that up real quick. Not because I don't like you guys. If you've if you've tried adding me on Facebook, you may not get added. Um, you might get added. I don't know. Sometimes I go through periods where I just don't add people. I don't really post much on my personal Facebook. Maybe some car stuff every once in a while. Don't take it as I'm being mean or rude or anything like that. It's Facebook. Nobody really uses Facebook for anything of importance. I don't. So again, if I don't add you on Facebook, it's nothing personal. You're going to get more on Instagram or here on YouTube anyways, because as you can tell, I ramble here on YouTube. You get to know me more here than you would on my Facebook. I really, after having a corporate job and a Facebook and having been pulled into an office, into my manager's office over Facebook, I just don't post like I used to. And I also don't post a lot of crap on Facebook because as time goes on, I'm just like, I don't need to share a bunch of memes. I don't need to complain on Facebook because my popcorn was cold at the movie theater. So, Glockness Monster. Yes, I wore that shirt. Where did I wear that? Somebody saw that and they loved the Glockness Monster shirt. They absolutely love the Glockness Monster shirt. And that's what probably one of the most comfortable. That green t-shirt, the green is the most comfortable of all of the t-shirts. So, if you like green and you like a Tactical Pontoon t-shirt or a Glockness Monster t-shirt, Nordic Nevadan will hook you up. It is extremely comfortable. Just saying. Facebook has good group content. Yes, it does. I do miss the days of forums. I'm not ancient. I'm not grumpy like that, but I do miss forums. It seems like they were just more of a concerted effort. Facebook groups just, it's like the Walmart of everything. Anyways, I do miss forums. I'm not really on any gun forums. I came up in the car forum. My very good friend Scott on here, Destroy 452. That is how we met, is on a car forum. I was crazy back then. And I had a lot of really good, some really bad ideas. That's how we met. So forums are something that are obviously very near and dear to me. I had my own forum for a while, car forum. And, I do miss forums. It just seemed like information was better shared and stored on a forum versus a Facebook group. I would rather find information on a forum. And I can tell as time goes on that information is transferring over to forums. Now granted, YouTube definitely stepped up when that became a thing, because I find more information on YouTube than I do on forums now, which it used to be the opposite way around. There might be a link to a forum. And then, of course, PhotoBucket. If any of you are old enough to remember PhotoBucket, how they screwed forums and a lot of information, because that was the way to store your pictures, was on PhotoBucket. Anyways, Vegas gun forums. Yeah, I guess Reddit's another one that I could start. That seems to be the kind of like a new forum thing. That's another one that I'll find information on, but I'm kind of social media'd out, to be completely honest. PhotoBucket for MySpace. Yes. And every like week or so, I'll get an email from PhotoBucket. We're going to delete your account unless you pay us money. And I really would love to get some of those pictures. I've got a lot of older pictures, but I'm sure there's some that I don't have that are still hijacked by PhotoBucket. So, all right, guys. I'm gonna call that for this week of Swimming with the Pontoon number 31. It was a good we had a good talk, or at least I talked a lot. I enjoyed the interaction. I'll be back next week. I don't foresee not being here. And we'll talk about some more stuff. I plan on doing at least a video, an informational video. I should have something for you guys. But again, like any time, no guarantees, but I'm going to try. Loving the Equalizer and Heisenberg. Well, great, Dave. I do need to send you another connector. I know you were having a little bit of issue getting a good clean break on that Heisenberg. I'll send you another connector. I think I figured out. I think I know what happened. It's part of the tactical pontoon difference. You're definitely not going to get Apex or Overwatch to send you another connector to fix them. Trust me. It's the difference. Anyways, yeah, that reset is insane. Have a good week, Sapper. Okay, yes. Have Clint shoot me a message, and we'll definitely get you taken care of. And he can install it. Clint is a tactical pontoon installer. He knows how to install them, and he's got a direct line to me. We'll get it taken care of. So later, guys, we'll do it again. And as always, if you need to get a hold of me, you can shoot me an email at tacticalpontoon@gmail.com. There's always Instagram, tactical_pontoon. Instagram has been a little bit funky when it comes to getting messages to me. So if you don't, if I don't answer you directly, it's just because Instagram's being crazy. Same with Facebook. Getting messages sometimes can be weird. So anyways, I will catch you guys later. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great week. And we will catch you next time on Tactical Pontoon.